Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever applies to you. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Julia. I'm a contemporary singing specialist based in Australia, and today I am checking out some new Dimash. Now, it has been a hot minute since I have reacted to Dimash on this channel, so I thought that I would check out something new from him. So today I will be reacting to his performance of the song Stranger. So let's get into it. I'm keen. Let's do this. And if you are wondering why is she holding a microphone, I said this on all the videos that I've filmed on in this particular session today because I have like 4 hours a week to film stuff in. Um, it snapped off, like completely snapped off my mic stand in the reaction to Smoking Out the Window. If you want to go watch that, you can. It's I thought it was pretty funny, but it was unfortunate in the moment that it has happened. And the one that I bought to replace it doesn't fit, so I'm gonna be holding this for the reaction. Alrighty, alright, let's go. Oh gosh, now I'm too excited. No. Alright.
Спасибо огромное.
Calm down. Professional.
А теперь прозвучит новая песня. Примерно. You crown far as I can see. You crown underneath my feet. Stranger in a stranger's land. You chance to know who I am if I have the strength to begin again. Somewhere in my heart, in ancient times, I wandered through these valleys. I have climbed among these hills. Faces from us somehow divide their memories. I've said lost, I've lost, I feel them in me sing.
All right, before we keep going through too many musical transitions and too many vocal choices, I'm gonna pause it there because we've heard what sounds like it's going to be a chorus twice now. It was the opening vocal section, and he just sang it again there in a completely different way to how he started the piece. He starts off in a really, really light mechanism that's quite breathy. If we've watched any of my other videos where I have happened to have described aspiration, you would know that the vocal folds move in a waveform. So I'm going to put the mic down and just show you the waveform. I might need to yell a little bit in order for the mic to pick this up. Stay. Okay, so the vocal folds move in a waveform. They're closed. Let's pretend these are the vocal folds. Sit horizontally. We've just popped them forward. Just cut the front of my let's pretend there was a little door that has opened up my throat and you're seeing directly into them, and these are just some supersized vocal folds. Okay, supersized vocal folds. The air blows them apart from the bottom, and then they get sucked back together. So it's called the Bernoulli effect. This is this wave formation that we get at the vocal fold level as it is vibrating. Now, if you are producing a breathy sound, that means that the open phase of that wave formation is longer than its closed phase. So you could see where parts of my hands were still touching and when it was not touching at all. That is the open phase. So depending on how long that closed phase is and how long the open phase is going to determine how much airflow you're going to get into your sound. So in the beginning, he was in a super light mechanism, very speechy, but we had that airiness, that breathiness that was actually coming into the sound. If we compare that to the second time he sings it, so let me refind it. There's still enough presence that I would say it's a light first register, a light mechanism one, but there's that breathiness in it. And then we go like basically full belty belt in this second bit. Where is it? So where is it going up to there? Because that to me is entering belting territory. That's more of a contemporary approach to the singing. Whereas where he started this particular chorus, it leaned a little bit more on the classical side, but it moved into this more contemporary setup. And if you're wondering, okay, well, what's the difference? Yeah, okay, the first bit had a little bit more vibrato to it. It's more about the depth of the sound. So I would say his larynx is sitting a little bit lower when he started as he's moving up into this particular part of the chorus in this moment, because remember, I haven't watched the whole thing yet. The larynx is lifting just a tiny bit more, and it's giving us more of a contemporary sound, heavy on the speech quality, but there's also a little bit more, not necessarily pressed, but we don't have quite as much space for that vibrato to be moving in. It's more narrow, I would say, in the pharynx, if that makes sense. So his resonating tract is narrowing as he's going up into that belt, and he's having to rely on his speechiness, rely on his twang, his resonance for it to maintain that belt quality. Of course, none of that is possible without like his epic breathing and support, which I have commented on before. He's just a breathing machine. He is a breath and support machine, and it's reflected in how long of a phrase he can get through, but also his dynamic choices within those phrases. It's just, he is an insane vocalist, just for that alone. But yeah, we have this contrast between starting off in something that errs a little bit more towards the classical, but not completely. And then this, to me, I would put that more into your contemporary sound. Maybe if we were to choose a genre, more of a musical theatre contemporary than like a pop rock contemporary. Stylistically, I wouldn't put his vocal approach in either pop or rock, if I'm honest. But that's to do with the tone rather than the presence of the belt, if anything. Anyway, thought that was really cool. And when he went super low, I think it was a verse, when he started going really low, we had that warmth and richness, and it just serves as another reminder of just how insane Dimash's range is, because when he then pops up again, it's like a second singer. It it feels almost like a completely different person. Anyway, we're going to keep going because I think this is really cool thus far, and I'm really enjoying that instrument. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'll put the name of it up here. I love that instrumental influence in there. It just, it makes it feel more epic. And as far as influences on the musicality in this, I won't really know until I watch all of it before I can comment on just how many times it might change. Let's keep going.
I feel them in this stream. You crawl far as I can see. You crawl underneath my feet. Stranger in a stranger's land. You chance
love that instrument. Sweet Jesus! Oh my god, this man is ridiculous. Oh, ridiculously good. Jesus. Oh my god, there were just so many influences in that. I was right not to comment on how many influences are going to be in this song because just this next section already has a completely different feel. I almost feel like are we even halfway through? Yes, we're halfway through. It's almost like you're in a video game and you've traversed into a slightly different land as you progress. So that little flick that he did in his vocals there, that reminds me a little bit of what you might find in your vocalists who are from India or around that region. And I'm not 100% sure on the connections in a lot of, I'm calling it world music because it's not really found within the framework of Western singing, that particular timbre and vocal choice to have that little flick or shudder in the sound, like what he used there. I'll go back and I'll find it. Let me just find it again. Yeah, okay, so that little shudder here. Let me find it. Those little moments where it's like there's a little shudder or a waver in the sound, that reminds me of actually I filmed a reaction to Shreya Ghoshal earlier, and I mentioned that something that is part of ornamentation. There's a lot of ornamentation which is clearly defined within your Indian classical music. I believe that that little flicker or shudder is called a katka. I probably mispronounced that, but that's what that reminds me of. And also some of the stylings within the instrumentation that has changed yet again, that gives me that feeling as well. I find that really interesting because it also, in this instance, put him in a completely different vocal setup to his classical training. It's very high and bright, so narrow in the pharynx, and a lot of it's going through his nose. So completely different setup as far as tone and approach. He sounds like a completely different singer yet again with this decision. It's kind of incredible. I want to listen to that again. And then there, a little bit more through the mouth. So we're losing some of that pingy, more nasalized placement that he just used in the section right before it. He is in a mix there. That is a very bright mix. And it sounds like he's leaning more towards his second register, if anything, because then he does transition into what to me sounds like a second register sound. There's so much freedom in the tonal quality of this section just here. Oh gosh, he's making so many little so many like fine-tuned decisions in order to achieve some of these sounds. It's really incredible, especially when in addition to that you consider the his ability to apply these things in different registers. Like there's like two main muscles. You have your TA and your CT muscle, and generally for second register, you have to strengthen that CT muscle. And in a lot of people, you either find that their TA is stronger or their CT is stronger, and they have to work really hard in order to balance out those muscles. His is just his are just like so well balanced and as strong as each other. Like that's why he's able to switch and drop and get the same quality in his singing no matter where he is, because there's no flaws in his vocal coordination that would prohibit him from being able to do these things. It's Amazing. God, I need to come up with some different adjectives and I need to calm down. Wow. Okay. Let's keep listening, but I want to hear how high that how high that high note went. Where is he? Where are you going, my dude? Oh, he's hopped up to that F6. Oh my god. Okay, alrighty. So he is floating around the octaves there. We've got C5 to an F5, and then that top one, he's going from a C6 to an F6. Now, I've had this little, not necessarily a battle, but there's always been some confusion in my comments under Dimash videos as to whether he's actually in whistle for something or not. And to me, it really depends on the tone. But ultimately, you don't really know unless you've asked the vocalist, because some people are able to blend between when they go from second register into third, which is whistle, where you have a very small part of the vocal folds actually vibrating, and when you're in second, which is just a very thin, long top of the fold vibration. And Dimash is one of those singers where his tone varies so much no matter what part of the range he's actually wanting to use, that it can be quite difficult when he's either approaching a whistle or not. In this case, it could be either. He's gone up to that C6 to the F6. Normally, I would put someone who is above like a D6, depending on the tone, because to me, this isn't quite as full. It really does almost have that more piercing quality to it. That to me would lean more towards a whistle sound tonally, but how it feels for him might be different, because second register and whistle notes, they feel different. Like physically, they feel different. So I wouldn't know unless I asked him. I'm not 100% sure. So let's just keep listening, see if he goes any higher, because we know his whistle range is also astronomically massive, because he can go off the piano if he so chooses. But anyway, I'm not 100% on that. He could be in second, but pulled very, very long and perfectly balanced so that tonally we don't hear too much of a shift. Or he could be in whistle and he's just starting at a tiny bit lower so that he can keep that tonal consistency as he's going up. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he's just like, I feel like doing this today, or I feel like doing it slightly different at another point in time, because he's proven with many of the songs that he sings that he's capable of making those kinds of decisions. Not a lot of people have that much freedom up there. So, unless you're looking at your coloratura sopranos, but he is a male, that there is freedom and there's flexibility up there, which makes me feel like his voice is definitely not under tension, because if anyone has to move their voice flexibly, they know that tension is the number one thing which can kill your ability to move flexibly. Immediate registration change, low down. This man's instrument is just amazing. Oh my goodness. New crown far as I can see. New ground underneath my feet. Stranger in a stranger's land. New chance to know who I am if I have the strength to begin.
Dimash Kudaibergen.
Igor Krutoy.
It never gets any less epic. I mean, we've heard him sing like long, sustained, mixed belted notes before, but every time it's like it's like the first time because you're like, just how far is he gonna take this? Oh, can someone please like just check the back of his neck for like, I don't know, a microchip, some kind of like cyborg like material because there is no way he is human. Something has happened to just Oh my god. I've asked before what planet he comes from. It's just the lungs on this dude. Jeez. One moment. I need to time this. I have to know. Okay, I'm gonna. One moment. Let me get this timer going. Okay. So, roughly, because I wasn't quite sure where he was going to finish, roughly 18 to 19 seconds of sustain. And I include the whole phrase in that. I'm not just talking about the long note at the end, I'm talking about the notes leading up into it as well. Oh my goodness. 19 seconds. 19 flipping seconds? Uh, uh, ugh. Oh my god. I'm just gonna stay down here for a while. And that, over the top of what is happening with the choir behind him, the movement in the music, just. Okay, the analogy that I wanted to use earlier, and I will use it because I feel like it still applies, is this song to me is almost like a video game where like Dimash is the character who's like taking us along to all these different places and there's this like feeling of epicness and journey. Like you could just put this in a video game soundtrack. Just do it. Put it in a video game soundtrack because it's got all these different influences in different parts of the song. They are connected, so you know, it's all part of the one thing, but they're definitely there. And you can hear those differences in what's happening in the rhythm, in what's happening with his vocal choices, and that chorus is tying us together. This is just yet another example of his ability to utilize a lot of his range, not his whole range, because just in case we've forgotten, he can sing higher and lower than what he did in this song. Just in case we forget. That's not his whole range, but he's able to exercise with flexibility and intention those more extreme ends of his range. So we've got range on there, we've got his dynamics, we've got that crazy sustain from him at the end going for almost 19 seconds if I timed it at all accurately. Just all of the things that would make someone as a vocalist more on the lines of like a physical weapon, because you have people who can navigate more difficult musical concepts and that's like you're musically a weapon, but then there's just the raw physical nature of some of the things that he's having to pull off vocally that make him an absolute monster in that way as well. Yeah. And it had those elements that I loved in Sommeltau as well. So it had that stringed instrument. I'm just going to put the name of that one up here. It had that stringed instrument, same as the Sommeltau video. So, you know, I'm immediately keen, immediately ready to see how it's going to be included in this particular performance. And then Dimash just going off. This is my first time hearing him sing in English, actually. Yeah, I think that's my first time hearing him sing in English. So if there are other songs that you want me to react to where he has been singing in English that you would perhaps like me to explain a little bit more on phonetics and rhythmic stress, how we might put that together. Perhaps that would be interesting. I'm not sure. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did it convey for you the same way that it did for me? I mean, there were a bunch of unique things that Dimash did uh, throughout. In particular, the almost like Katka influenced sound, including the placement. And of course, that's just the only terminology that I know as a reference point for that particular vocal decision. So please let me know if there's another part of the world that uses similar vocal decisions that call it something else, because I would be really interested into diving into that. But yeah, as a whole, what an absolute weapon. Extreme demonstration of of range and color and just sheer ability, physical and musical. I mean, definitely on the physical side, because if you don't have the physical skills to pull off a song like that, it doesn't matter how musically minded you are never going to be able to sing that song like that without the physical chops for it. But yeah, anyway, that is kind of where I probably want to leave that one today. That was exceptional. I feel like every time I listen to Dimash, my mind just winds up being blown into blown out into orbit, and I just float there for a while like what even just happened? Like, if you had to put this in a soundtrack for something, would you put it in a video game or a movie? And if so, which movie or video game? That would be really cool to hear where you guys would probably fit this, because we do have that chorus tying it all together, and it really sounds like we're exploring. We're going off to do something. Anyways, that is it for me today. If you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give it a like. And if you want more videos from me, click the subscribe button and the bell notification beside it for more just like this one. I tend to upload a little bit chaotically, so if you're not subscribed, you may not know when a new video goes up. As usual though, I hope you are staying safe. I hope you are staying healthy. And I will see you next time. Bye! Left. 19 seconds. 19